Welcome back to another episode of Dropping the Gloves. We have a great one for you today. It's Kirby Dach, friend of the show, returns for the third time. It was great to talk with him about, going to Montreal, getting injured last year, what that was like after finally recovering from other injuries and being ready and feeling healthy for the new season. He gets hurt in a random fluke hit in game 2 and misses 80 games last year. He'll talk pretty openly about what that was like in his recovery and how he stayed involved with the team and managed to not drive himself crazy over the course of the season. So that was pretty cool. We recorded this on Tuesday and camp started Wednesday. So Kirby, I'm sure, had a million other things on his mind, but he was still very gracious to give us that time and talk about his new teammates and just everything that's happening in the city and in his life. So great interview. Check it out. This interview, like all interviews, is brought to you by Bet365, the proud partner of Dropping the Gloves. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Open an account today. Without further ado, here's Kirby Dach.
Good morning, everybody. We just caught Kirby Dach saying something we might not want him to say on air. I'm glad we didn't press record earlier, right, Kirby?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Anyways, thanks for joining us, everybody. We have Kirby Dach joining the show today. Second time interviewer, and just what a career he's had so far to date. Ups and downs, sideways, all over the map. Kirby, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I think this is my third time, maybe.
Third?
Yeah. So
I know the last time we spoke, you had just gotten traded.
Yeah, and then I think we spoke one time when I was in Chicago still.
When you were just in Chicago. Boy, oh boy, we're like best friends.
Yeah, at this point.
Do you know I have a similar career trajectory with you? I played in Chicago. I played in Montreal.
Yeah.
And you, my friend, could be in the All-Star game contention this year if you play your cards right.
Yeah, it's very true. Very, very true.
Well, let's backtrack it because we talked before and you were getting dealt to Montreal. Weird thing being traded. We talked about that at length. And then you didn't know what to expect with Montreal.
Yeah.
And then you have your first season and you play fantastic. Talk about that transition going from Chicago, all the huge expectations, and you get to Montreal. And then you hit the ground running pretty much.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun here. I had a lot of good meetings with Marty and Kent and Jeff Gordon kind of when I got here. And they just pretty much told me flat out, go out and play. Enjoy it, have fun, and find the love of the game again. And I did. Kind of went through some ups and downs in Chicago that I wasn't really able to shake. And when I got here, it was kind of like a fresh start, like I was just restarting my career type of thing. And it was, it's been a lot of fun.
Talk about Marty, because when I played for a lot of coaches. Marty St. Louis seems like the coolest guy ever. But being a player, you don't know much about coaching. It's two different things, right? If someone said, Kirby, go be a coach for a hockey team, it's kind of intimidating. How is he as a coach? Is he more just like one of the guys? Or how does he act?
Not really, to be honest with you. Like Marty's, he's really good at figuring out what each guy needs, kind of thing. If you kind of need a kick in the butt, or if you need a one-on-one personal talker, or that kind of stuff. But he's, I found like last year, kind of watching from afar and kind of being involved a little bit more with the coaches and talking to them and stuff like that. That he did a pretty good job of showing that he can still have fun and be a guy's guy and help us along and help us in certain situations, but at the same time he can put the hammer down and kind of tell us when we're not playing too good and we need to pick it up. And which is it's nice to have a coach like that where you can talk to him on a personal level, but at the same time you're still going to get the coaching aspect out of it. And he's done an unbelievable job. Our whole coaching staff has, and I mean we all love coming to the rink and hanging out, and it's honestly just a really fun place to play, and it's been nothing but good.
So how does that work? Because you're not old. You're still 23, and you get injured. What do you mean? You're just in the coach's office? Like, what do you mean? Like being around? Because you got hurt second game of the year last year.
Yeah, so I started sitting in pre-scout meetings and meetings with the coaches and with the
No
team and
kidding.
stuff like that. Yeah, just to kind of learn and to see the game from what they kind of want and expect, and also to keep up, like keep in the loop almost. Like so, if they're implementing new things, that it's not brand new to me this year, that I'm kind of caught up to date with all the systems and all the stuff they want to be doing.
So who initiated that? Was it Marty saying, "Hey, Curbs, we got to get you in here, keep you in the mix," or was it you?
I think it was Marty kind of approached me with it, him and Kent, and I was all for it. So game day mornings, I was at the rink bright and early. It's another thing I didn't see about coaching when you asked that question earlier. If I could go coach a team, it's a lot of early mornings and late nights doing video and discussing things and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's kind of just in there watching and learning and bouncing ideas off with Marty about different plays or different things that we see. And I think it taught me a lot of the way he used to play the game and the way he saw the game and the way I see the game and how I can add that into my game.
What did you? This is fascinating because it's kind of behind the curtain of what happens, and I've never really been in that room. But when you were scouting a team like Toronto, where you guys play all the time, interdivision, interconference rivals, what would you guys focus on? If you're in the room with Marty St. Louis and all the assistant coaches, what would you guys look for?
Honestly, we just yeah, everybody knows they got the skill guys up front, and I think it's just more so going. I'd say we don't too much focus on other teams as much as we focus on ourselves and what we need to do
Yeah.
to be able to beat their systems and stuff like that, right? So I don't think it was too much focused on, oh, we're playing Toronto, we're playing Pittsburgh, we got to worry about Sid and Gino, like all this other stuff, right? It's just more, this is how we need to play as a group of five on the ice, and I think that's a big thing that Marty preaches about, is playing as a group of five.
That's crazy. Tim, you got anything? That's fascinating to me.
Yeah, well, I saw the report yesterday at that charity golf thing that you spoke, and you said you're feeling 100%, which I know for you is must feel pretty special with all the injuries you've had. Can you talk a little bit about just the mental space entering camp tomorrow, knowing that you feel 100% ready to go?
Yeah, I feel good. So like you said, I kind of said it yesterday, but that was the other thing too. Like that comes along with injuries is you don't really think about how much of a toll it takes mentally. It was a tough year last year. As I was on my own for quite a bit of it. I actually had my mom move down right when it kind of happened for the first 3 or 4 weeks, just so I could get my bearings and she could help me move around and help me change the ice pack or whatever it was and stuff like that, right? So that was pretty big for me. But like going back to the coaching thing is like it was nice to be involved with the team and still kind of feel loved and
Yeah.
a part of it as much as you can when you're sitting from the sidelines for 80 games.
Yeah, I remember, Tim, when I first, and this is a far cry from 80 games you're out, but I had a high ankle spraining training camp in Minnesota. The coach and GM did not want the active players to see the injured players, to the
Yeah,
point where they would be coming in the room between periods and they would say, "Get out of the room. We don't want you guys around." So it's a weird dynamic. Was any of that happening during the season? Like, because you can't be just around, like, because it's 80 games is a long time, Kirby. That's like 7
yeah,
months.
yeah. No, well, I didn't travel at all, so I wasn't there for road games. But home games, I was around the team all morning. Once it was game
Awesome.
time, I was kind of out of the room. I'd see the guys afterwards and talk to them and hear what they kind of had to say. But other than that, no, I wasn't. I was involved, but I wasn't involved. But practices, same thing. Like Marty wanted us. I watched most practices last year. He wanted the injured guys in the video meetings and all that other stuff, right? Like it's really about the team first here, and not just kind of it's about the guys who are playing and the guys who aren't playing, right?
And how's the upper body? Because I know lower body injury, you get in the
hmm
training room, it's like, well, we can't do the legs. Let's do the upper body. How's the strength? Because it wasn't really a knock on you, but you were a tall guy. Takes a
hmm
little bit longer to develop. Did you put on any meat in the last year?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I was kind of
Okay.
doing 2 a days for a little bit. When I did tear my knee, I'd do like a rehab workout and little bit of like a lower body for my left leg, just keeping that strong. And then later that night, I do upper body workout when it was a game night, like during the first period type of thing. So I feel strong. I definitely don't feel weak at all. And it's at the point now too where I wake up in the morning and kind of forget which leg I had the surgery on.
Wow, that's nice. So last year, and maybe tell me if this is a rumor or not, I heard you were healthy at the end of the year. Could have played, but your GM said, we're going to keep him out just to make sure.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have let me play, but I felt like I was confident enough in it and that I could have played, or if we made playoffs, that I was going to play. So that was my whole goal, was whenever the season ended, I think April 16th or 17th, something like that, was to be ready for April 17th. And
so I know you hate talking about it. Like, yeah, you worked hard. It's got to be painful. Is it frustrating to you to be like, jeepers, I got to talk about the injury again? And Tim and I even debated, like, do we even bring this crap up? Because you had the wrist and now the knee. It's just like you're 22, 23. It's just something. It's like, listen, you guys, 2 freak incidents. I'm not this Band-Aid. I'm a big moose of a man, and let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me. Hockey. Montreal's a pretty big hockey market, and the fans care about the players and how we're all doing. I mean, I was grocery shopping today and ran into a few people that were like, "Oh, hope you're healthy and have a good season." And they're all very polite and nice too. And it's nice to kind of feel that love from the fan base too. Even though you've been out for a year, for them to still be rooting for you and have your back.
So camp starts tomorrow. Have you been skating with the guys for a few weeks already? Like, who's been in town and what's going on there?
Yeah, I think all of us have been in town since September 7th or 8th. So we've had a few weeks to skate together and get to know the new guy, Patrik Laine, and kind of just hang out and mesh and gel and enjoy Montreal. It's still nice outside.
Yeah, tell us about Laine. I mean, that's the big news in Montreal this summer, and everyone's kind of thinking about whose line does he go on? How does he fit? Did he stay healthy? All that stuff. You've been skating with him. How's it been?
It's been a lot of fun. He's so skilled. It's insane. His shot is honestly, it's one of the best ones I've ever seen. His release and how well he picks corners, and he's going to be a lot of fun to play with this year. And it's going to be fun to watch him out there too. And it's going to be nice having him on our team instead of burying pucks past us.
Is there? You mentioned Montreal. It's everybody's watching you guys. You're coming off a season-ending injury. Patrik Laine is coming off all the issues he dealt with last year. Are you enjoying the calm before the storm that's going to happen? Not tomorrow, because tomorrow's probably medicals, but first day of camp's going to be just bananas for you.
Yeah, I think that's the good thing about our team is we're so tight and we're so together that the outside noise doesn't really bother us, and I think we all have each other's backs when it comes down to it, and would go to war for each and every one of those guys in the room. So come during camp, we don't really pay attention too much to rumors or what people are speculating or saying or anything like that. We know the kind of team we can have this year, and we're just looking forward to getting the season started.
Yeah, because I saw a video of David Savard burying Michael Pezzetta from behind. And it was just, it didn't look like a very cohesive team, Kirby, at that point, where you guys are trying to hurt each other. What's going on there?
I didn't even know they got that on video, to be honest with you. But
I saw it. I saw it, Kirby.
Yeah, no, stuff happens when you battle. You trip a guy, you accidentally hit a guy, or clip him up high. At the end of the day, like there's no bad blood there. Guys are laughing about it and having a chuckle.
Who's the toughest guy on your team? Because you know you got Arbogast guy and you got Pezzetta. Is it nice to have those big beefy guys back there? Because you're a tall dude. You get asked to fight sometimes.
Yeah, it is nice, honestly. Like you said, I'm a tall guy, but when Arbor and Pezzi are in the lineup, you definitely play a little bit taller, a little bit bigger, and those guys do a hard job, and we appreciate it each and every night that they go out there and they're battling and competing for us and willing to fight and do those things for us. So it's awesome.
So you were pretty much a coach last year in the offices, scouting, doing the lineups. When you found out, holy crap, we got Patrik Laine, did you immediately call Marty and go, hey, Marty, you'd look good on my right side? Was that the first thing you did?
No, that wasn't the first thing I did. Not at all. But the lineup isn't up to me. I had nothing to do with that last year. That was always set before I could go into the coach's locker room or the office and stuff like that. So wherever Marty wants me to play, I'm ready for this year and kind of ready to reestablish myself and prove that, like you said, I'm not a Band-Aid and it's been two kind of fluke things, and go out there and play a full season.
But when you do look at the lines, Kirby, let's just play, make a lineup and have some fun. Wouldn't it be cool? You walk into the locker room day one and you go, oh, crap, I got Slafkovsky and Laine. I'm between them. We're three massive human beings. Wouldn't that be fun to think about?
Yeah, I think that's the nice thing too about having the players we have now is anybody can play anywhere, and you can kind of mix and match lines up and see what's going to work.
So I want to ask about Slafkovsky. I mean, I don't know if you followed the Canadiens at all last year. You watched him get better like almost every night, more confident, being more physical, and obviously the points he was putting up. It was something like close to a point per game in the final month or two. What did you see from your position? How much better he is, and how good he's going to be this year?
Yeah, he was awesome. I think you look at his body of work from last year, the split it in two, like the year, and I think he just started using his body a little bit more, started being a little more aggressive and taking pucks to the net and rolling off guys and finishing checks, and he was a ton of fun to watch, and definitely had a lot of conversations with him last year and trying to help him out. And I'm not saying I was ever in the same spot pressure wise or what he was feeling with being the first overall pick here and stuff like that, but we were both bigger guys who haven't really grew into our bodies, and sometimes it just takes some time, and you got to be all right with it taking time, and when you do find it, it makes the game really fun.
The other kid I want to ask you about is Lane Hutson. I don't know if you've skated with him at all yet. I know he's at the rookie camp now, but does he look like an NHL-ready defenseman in your eyes?
I think so. I mean, you don't really know. I think we got a lot of young, good defensemen. Hutson, Mayu, Gooley, Jack Guy, Barron, Struble, Reinbeck. Like the list kind of goes on and on for our young D-men. But the way he can skate and move is pretty crazy. Like it's been fun to watch when you skate with him. Yeah, you're just making sure you're not getting caught on tape, and with him walking around you. So he's going to be a special player, and he's going to be a lot of fun to play with.
Just because he's a puck mover, your first, your rookie year, you played with Dunks, obviously a Hall of Famer. Who does he remind you of, this Hutson? Is he more like a Cale Makar, just a smooth skater?
Yeah, honestly, any of those young D-men that are kind of terrorizing the league now, Makar, Hughes, Fox, they all kind of got that same, seems like stutter step with the blue line and the way they can move their hips and open and close them and break out pucks. And it's pretty cool to see as such a young kid who's that dialed in with that kind of stuff. And it's going to be fun to watch his progression throughout this year and throughout his career.
It's funny you say young kid. The kid's 2 years younger than you are. Let's be honest, 3. You're 23, he's 20, but like you act like you're this sage veteran now. Do you feel like you're older than your age now, Kirby, just because you've done so much and you've been traded and injured and you like a high draft pick? Do you feel like you lost your childhood in a sense? Let's dig into this.
Maybe just a little bit, but no, it's crazy. I was actually talking to one of my buddies the other day, and that's to think that I'm going into my 6th year. So it's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of highs and lows, and so hopefully it kind of smoothens out here.
Yeah, well, let's. It's not even on my agenda here. We're talking about your first 5 years. How did it go? Because obviously, we talked about it before we started. Couple injuries really hijacked it, but you got to start right at a camp. you're on an NHL roster playing pretty good minutes in Chicago, and you had a good rookie year, and then injury, back in the lineup, traded. How do you grade it? 5 years in, you've played what, a couple hundred games?
Yeah. Honestly, I wish I could have done more offensively, production wise, but at the same time, it's the best league in the world. So,
Yeah.
I think that kind of setback coming from junior and minor hockey, always being the guy and taking a back seat to some pretty good hockey players in Patrik Laine, Jonathan Toews, Alex DeBrincat, all guys who will be in the Hall of Fame. You start to learn from those guys and what it takes to be excellent and great at this level. So I'm just trying to learn and take those lessons and move on and continue to better myself.
Where do you see you? Like, are you an Eric Lindros type? Are you going to be like more of a skilled power forward? Because have we seen the best of Kirby Dach? I don't think we have, because last year you showed flashes in the first 2 games, and man, I want to see you.
Yeah, no. I felt really good last year coming in. I think I look back on it like I want to be similar to Ryan Getzlaf or Mark Scheifele, and like those big guys that are rangy, can make plays, and obviously with Getzlaf's kind of grit and the way he plays the game too.
What are you weighing in at? Because Getzlaf used to fight quite a bit.
Yeah, I think 221 pounds was what I weighed in today at. So, yeah.
What's your body fat at? You're going to go get the calipers tomorrow, probably.
Yeah,
they pinch the back of the shoulder. They pinch the side. Where else do they pinch with?
There's like 8 or 9 pinches. You got the shoulder, bicep, tricep, just like inside here. A couple on the gut, like one on the side, one on the gut, and then 2 on the leg, I think.
What are you going to be, around 7%?
No, God, no. No, that's like skin and bones. 7%.
Kirby, you're not double digits, are you?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out tomorrow.
Come on. I was always around 10, 9, 10. That was my sweet spot.
Yeah, I feel like that's where most guys end up. It's kind of in there.
All right. So you're off season. You're 100% training all summer long. Your brother is a good hockey player. Do you train with him all off season? He's sniffing the NHL right now, and your old team, the Chicago Blackhawks. Do you guys battle in the summer? How does that work out?
Yeah, we've trained and skated together for like 8 years, 9 years. Like, we've always kind of done everything together. So it's been fun to watch him kind of progress, and I know he's hungry and he's ready to kind of take a spot in Chicago and prove that he is an NHL player.
Is it a little bittersweet because you could have maybe played with them?
Yeah, so it's funny. The same thing actually happened in junior. He was drafted to Saskatoon as well, and I ended up making it at 18, so that would have been a 16-year-old year, so that would have been the first year we ever would have played together, and then Chicago thought it was going to happen, and no, I was shipped off.
That's too funny. Maybe you guys just aren't meant to play together, but what do you obviously give him advice. You're kind of mentoring him all through. The guys both played in the dub you mentioned. You're going to play in the NHL potentially. You had a great year in Rockford, put up some major points. I was working for the Hawks. It was always talking about him. When are we going to call up Colton Dach, see what he's got? What do you say to him? Because you've been around the Hawks environment. You know how crazy it is.
I just tell him to kind of be himself, play your game, and don't really worry about what people might be saying if you deserve it or if you don't deserve it or if you played a good game or a bad game. You just gotta find a way to stay even keel and produce and be consistent. And I think that's the biggest thing that him and I have talked about, is just being a consistent player day in and day out.
So watching this year in the press box, not fun, but you get to pick up stuff from other players. Who around the league do you watch and go, holy crap, like that's impressive?
Yeah, this year a lot, just because we played them 8 times, and then I watched a lot of the playoffs, was Barkov. He was a lot of fun to watch, the way he kind of controls the game and doesn't give up much either. Like, he's strong both ends of the ice and makes plays and seems to always make the right play too. So he's one guy I watched quite a bit and kind of studied throughout the summer too.
Could you studied him throughout the summer? Did you watch him practice? Did you go back to Russia?
No. Just in the playoffs and stuff like that, or watch little YouTube videos here and there.
Could you tell watching him? You're like, this team's, as Tim likes to say, is a wagon.
Yeah, I thought they had a really good chance at winning it. Honestly, when Edmonton started winning games in the middle of the season, I thought they were going to be kind of unstoppable. And another team that I thought was going to get there too, that was close, was Dallas. Just with their experience, they're big, they're heavy. When we played against them, they were flying around, and I was like, yeah, like this team's got a real chance to win it. So those were my kind of 3 picks.
What do you think of Nashville this year, going out and grabbing Stammer, getting Marcia Stowe and Brady Shea? How cool is that?
Yeah, Nashville's got to be a pretty cool place to play. It's got to draw a lot of attention, but they're going to be good. I mean, Barry Trotz is the GM there now, and he's always been revered as a smart hockey mind. So I could see them making a push. It's there's a lot of teams that kind of got better, and it's going to just make the league a whole lot better.
Where's Montreal going to finish this year? Because last year, not good. You know, slow signs of improvement. The first line's fantastic. I think we solidified that, but I think the injuries and lack of depth hurt. What's Montreal's standings? Are you guys going to be better this year? That's what I want to get.
Yeah. Everybody's a year older, a little more mature, a little more experienced, and I think this is kind of going to be a pivotal year for us to go out and make some noise and hopefully start playing meaningful games down the stretch, and not just kind of selling guys off at the deadline and picking up draft picks and stuff like that, but to make some real noise and to show some improvement. I mean, every year you go into it and you want to make playoffs, and I think once you make playoffs, it's anybody's chance, right?
Yeah, no, it's wide open, and you guys have a good roster. What I notice is you guys are all so young. Like you're all babies relatively in this league, but you've all played, like you said, this is your 6th year for Pete's sake, but you're only 23. The same can go for Caulfield. He's 23. Suzuki, your captain's, he's 25. Kirby, who's the guy in the room who steps up and is like, holds everyone accountable if things are going south? Is it Gallagher? Gally? He's obviously been there the longest.
Yeah, Susie actually did a pretty good job last year, from what the guys kind of were saying, was being a little more talkative and kind of stepping up into his role. And another guy too that doesn't wear a letter is David Savard. He speaks up quite a bit. He's been really good for us. And when we had Jakey Allen, same thing with him, and Sean Monahan, Josh Anderson, like you mentioned, Gallagher, Matheson. Like, we still have that touch of veterans that kind of help us out and are teaching us along the way. And like you said, holding guys accountable and holding themselves accountable too. So I think that's the nice thing too, is that we're all growing up together, and we're all going to be able to down the road hold each other accountable, and it'll only make us really better.
You'll all be able to like get married and have kids together too. What's the situation? I'm kidding. You mentioned you're in a condo, you're living with the boys. What do you guys do for fun? Because I know Montreal's hard. You can't really go places. You can't go to the grocery store. What do you guys get up to?
Honestly, we have our dinner spots. We change it up a little bit, but we just go out for dinner. We do a lot of hanging out at the rink, or just sitting down watching TV together. Just little things like that. As much as we can, kind of spend time with some guys, and just enjoy the Montreal life. We've actually had not too bad winters the past couple of years, so that's been good too. And the weather's nice and right now, so maybe go sit on a patio or something like that, or just enjoy the sun.
Just say you go out, because like I said, I played there.
Yeah.
If you go out 10 times, how many times do you get recognized, even if it's just stepping out to pump gas?
I'd say it's 50-50.
50-50.
Yeah, you get it sometimes you don't, but they're all super nice and respectful. And if we're eating dinner and they'll wait for us to finish a meal and be on our way out before they'll ask for a picture or just say just even good luck and stuff like that. So it's, the fans are really good here, and they treat us with a lot of respect, and we definitely love them, and they help us out quite a bit during the season with their support.
What did you work on the most? And if my questions are annoying you, just tell me to shut up, because I'm fascinated. I don't get to talk to like good hockey players very often, so it's nice when I get to work. Like, what do you work on, Kirby Dach, in the summer? Because you're good on the face-offs, you have good feet, your skills are good, your hands are lights out, you protect the puck really, really solid. What do you go into the offseason saying, I'm going to focus on this one thing? I want to work on a quick snapshot, or my backhand.
Yeah, there's definitely main areas of focus. This summer was a little more power skating than I've done previous, just with my leg and trying to get that back to 100%. But I do power skating every summer, pretty much. Always working on that, and just working on like basic skills. For me, more so, it's my shot and shooting and working on a quicker release, or maybe getting a little harder. But other than that, you just kind of work on little things here and there, and just kind of freshen up or brush up the skills.
Do you look at a guy like a Tage Thompson in Buffalo and just relish the competition? Because he's 6'6". He's a big dude. You're 6'4", and we similar type players, centerman. Do you get up for those battles? Because he's a big guy, Kirby.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy going up against the best of the best, and I always like that challenge and trying to prove myself, or shut down guys, or play in a role like that. So it's fun playing against guys like that. And I mean, we got a few big centermen in this division, and definitely a lot of good battles that are to be had down the road.
Who's the toughest centerman to go up against? 60 minutes. You got to go up against somebody. Who is it? Big, strong guy or a small, shifty guy? Who is it?
I'd go back to Barkov, honestly. The way he defends and how smart he is and stuff like that. Obviously, you got McDavid and McKinnon and Sid, and those guys are special. But what Barkov does on the defensive side of the puck it's pretty impressive.
Are you his agent? Is he up for a new deal? Is that why you're pumping his tires?
No, not at all.
Because I can almost guarantee we could ask any other NHL player, and Barkov maybe wouldn't be the answer of the guy. Like, that's an interesting answer. Aleksander Barkov. Is he that good?
I actually think so. And I mean, the guys that I've talked to, or we've watched games or played against him, have all kind of said the same thing. In my opinion, he's one of the best in the league at what he does.
I forget how big he is, Tim. He's 6'3". And he's solid. You always look at him, and he seems like he's smaller than he is, maybe because he moves so well.
Yeah.
He's 6'3".
He's strong.
That's crazy.
He's shifty. He's a really good player.
All right, last one for me. Would you rather have a one-time clapper or a breakaway goal? What do you like? Which does Kirby like to score?
Breakaway.
Why? You got a bad clapper?
No, I just like you get a little more speed, a little more momentum for the celebration. Enjoy it a little bit.
What's your go-to celebration? Yeah.
Usually I go down on a knee. My favorite one I've done was the hand of the year. That one was pretty cool.
The hand of the year? What's that mean?
Hand to the ear.
Hand to the ear. But was that in Chicago? Was that when you were in Montreal and you were trolling the fans?
Yeah, I did it once in junior too. Actually, to Caden Gooley's junior team. Our junior teams used to play like 12 times a year. We ran playoffs in a heated series and scored a nice goal. And same thing, was getting it from the crowd and just decided to give it back a little bit.
You ever get jumped, Kirby, for your attitude?
No, not yet.
Not yet. If you could fight one guy in the show, who would it be? Come on.
Oh, one guy. I don't know. I don't really know. I think the two
You're supposed to say
I've had,
Barkov.
No, the two fights I've had have both been spur of the moment, just angry about something. So,
Who did you fight? I can't remember who you fought.
Blake Coleman, because he hit DeBrincat from behind and was just kind of.
That's right.
Because
yeah,
I took one from the last game, or Kaner took one in Seattle, and Brinksy jumped the guy. So I saw Brinksy got hit, so I was like, all right, my turn to do this. And then last 2 years ago against Cop in Montreal.
he's a tough kid too.
Yeah.
What do you think hockey needs to do to be more enjoyable to watch? If you're Gary Bettman, what rule would you put in place?
I get rid of the shootout, honestly.
Why? You said you like scoring breakaway goals.
I do like scoring breakaway, but they don't even count in the shootout. So
I know. What would you replace? Longer overtime or just have ties?
Yeah, I think I'd replace with a longer overtime. I think like when you lose in overtime, it's not as bad of a feeling as when you lose in a shootout. Just feel like it's more chance in a shootout when you to win or lose type of thing. So I'd do a longer overtime, but other than that, I don't mind the rules the way they are now. But there's a lot of reviews and stuff that can kind of mess up the flow of the game. But other than that, it's been pretty good.
Do you like the offside review on a goal?
When I get scored on, yes. When I score the goal, no.
Well, let me pose this overtime solution for you. No shootout, 3-on-3, but before one guy can go on for a second shift, they have to run through the whole bench. So everybody has to play. So it doesn't essentially become a skills competition. Your whole team plays.
Yeah, that could work. I mean, it's a lot of bodies to run through. If it's 3-on-3,
You're right.
18, so 6 shifts. It's kind of by the time overtime's done, you're not getting a second shift. So, yeah, you gotta talk to Gary about that one. Ask him.
Gary doesn't return my calls. He doesn't like me, but you're like a coach now, so I figured you might have his ear.
Oh, I'm nowhere near a coach. Nowhere near a coach.
You're closer than I am, Kirby. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you bearing with me because I know I'm not very fun to talk to, especially when you got camp tomorrow. You got to worry about the steroid test. You've had a long off season rehabbing. We all know how you get healthy. No comment, right, Kirby?
No comment. No.
I had a spur of the moment test one summer. The guy came right to my apartment and he's like, we got a test. And they call you and like, you have to be here in an hour or you fail the test. And so I had to show up and you know how it is. They watch you pee and everything. But yeah, it's so bizarre how they find you. But anyways, I appreciate you coming on for the third time, my friend.
Yeah.
We'll get your address. We'll send you some merch so you can wear it in the locker room and support the show because I know you want to do that. And good luck this year, man. I think you're going to have a good year. We'll be watching.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next time. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to Dropping the Gloves with John Scott, a member of the Nation Network of Podcasts. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from to never miss an episode.